Okay, so in this question we have a sector and a triangle and a rectangle to work with, and we are told that the total area of the shape is kx squared, and we're asked to find the value of k. So essentially this question is about the area of this shape. So let's break it up into A1, the area of the sector, A2, the area of the triangle, try that again, A2, the area of the triangle, and A3, the area of the rectangle. And the area of the rectangle is actually going to be the trickiest bit, so I'm going to start with that one. The area of a rectangle is, of course, base times height. Now we know the height of this rectangle, but we don't know the base. It's tempting to use x for the base, but if we look at this triangle over here, it's a sneaky right-angled triangle. Let me draw it out here. I know this is a right-angled triangle because there's 270 degrees out here, which means there must be 90 degrees left over in here. Each side of this right-angled triangle is represented by x. So Pythagoras' theorem can be used to find the length of this side. We know whatever this is x squared plus x squared, these two sides, square rooted. That gives me the square root of 2x squared. Thinking about our laws of surds, this can be written as the square root of 2 times the square root of x squared, which is just x. So that is the length of that side. So that's quite tricky to work out. Now I can say that the area of that rectangle, area 3, is base times height, which is 2x times, sorry, I wrote this down incorrectly over here, as I dare say you spotted. There it is. 2x times the square root of 2x. Now the x times the x makes an x squared, and then I've just got the 2 root 2, which I'll stick in front. Now we could write this down as a decimal, but I'm going to leave it in exact form as 2 root 2 for now. Let's now have a look at the area of this triangle. Because it's a right-angled triangle, I know that I've got a base and a height. It's just a right-angled triangle on its side. So if I draw that triangle like this, okay, so that's just this triangle kind of flipped around a little bit, I can say that its area is a half base times height. Well, that is a half of x times x, a half x squared. So the area of the triangle is a half x squared. Now the top area is the easiest one. It's simply the area of a sector. So that is the angle in the middle over 360 times the area of the circle, pi r squared. The radius of this circle is x, so this is pi x squared. If you type that into the calculator, 270 over 360 times pi, you'll get 3 pi over 4 x squared. So the total area is equal to 3 pi over 4 x squared plus a half x squared plus 2 root 2 x squared. Now if it wanted an exact answer, I wouldn't be able to work out pi or the square root of 2 as a decimal here. If I want to know what the value of k is, that's the thing multiplying x squared, I could factorize x squared out of all 3 of these terms and be left with this. So this whole thing over here is k. As an exact answer, that's what we'd be dealing with. I'll work it out on the calculator as well. This question isn't asking me for an exact answer, so this is fine. So I'm just working this out on my calculator. 3/4 pi plus a half plus 2 times the square root of 2 is giving me 5.68. And that total area is 5.68 x squared. Okay. Now I could have used decimals earlier on in the question, and that may have made it a little bit nicer to look at. And of course in this question that's fine, but do watch out for questions which want exact values, because then that wouldn't be okay. Now part B by comparison is going to be very easy. And even if you get part A wrong, you can still get full credit for part B using your answer for K, even if it's wrong. So part B I'm going to do over here. Find the value of x when the total area is 110. So if the total area is 5.68 x squared, that means 5.68 x squared would equal 110. If I divide both sides by 5.68, then I'm going to get a value for x squared. So I'll do that on my calculator. 19.4. And then of course we just square root that. And that's going to be 4.40. And that's going to be in centimeters, and that's my final answer. So that concludes the answers to this worksheet.